Today on the Gold Standard.
If you move $10,000 or more a year through any account, banking, investing, any financial account, it will be known by the federal government through the IRS. And that, my friends, is not at all financial privacy, and it is not at all any financial freedom. So the point is, how do you get some financial freedom? How do you get some money out of the banking system before all this happens? How can you still do it legally?
This is the Gold Standard from Midas Gold Group with Kenneth Russo. Hello, I'm Dave Deno. Welcome to the Gold Standard, your source for secure investment opinion and information on the advantages of purchasing and owning precious metals. Whether you're a novice investor or an experienced collector, this is the program that gives you a realistic weekly perspective on the state of the economy, reliable information about using precious metals such as gold, silver, and platinum to safeguard your wealth, and remarkable details about specific precious metal coins and bullion. Ken Russo is a senior vice president at Midas Gold Group. His peers characterize him as a straight shooter who will work harder for you than anyone else. Ken, it is a pleasure to join you again this week.
Yes, Dave. Nice to be with you as always.
Our topic is privacy and freedom. And this is a very serious topic because of recent legislation that proposed to have financial institutions report any transaction of $600 or more to the IRS. The legislation was supposedly aimed at catching tax cheaters, people who hid or failed to report income. But the public reaction was so negative to the bill's invasion of privacy that Congress took the bill out of consideration. However, there is now news that the Biden administration has revised the proposal to have the IRS monitor bank accounts more closely in another manner. The same idea, but with a different threshold that's very deceptive. How would this new proposal work?
Well, it's very important when we consider our financial privacy and our financial freedom. I mean, and that's what gold was all about, Dave. It's what it's always been all about. And look at the topics that we're talking about today. You know, don't forget Biden hired 80,000 new IRS agents, with some of the bills last year. So that's their main focus, control and monitoring. But the new idea, Dave, would have those same financial institutions like banks and investment houses, all the entities that manage people's money, report all financial accounts with money flowing in and out that totals more than $10,000 annually. That would be subject to an additional reporting requirement. And this new proposal is from the Treasury Department itself. And how many times over the last year have we talked about our accounts potentially being controlled and looked at by the Treasury Department or the Fed themselves? So, I mean, this is another crystal ball moment for Dave and Ken. Now, don't be fooled, but the sleight of hand wording here, Dave, by that, you'll see there already is a requirement, to report any single transaction of $10,000 or more.
Yeah,
Anybody who knows that.
any single transaction, right?
Yeah, any single transaction of $10,000 or more. Anybody who goes to the bank realizes if they deposit or withdraw more than $10,000 at a time, they're asked to fill out a currency transaction report that we've talked about many times, supposedly to guard against money laundering. And that's intrusive, in our private lives, because there are many times, Dave, we may want to move or deposit $10,000 or more into an account. And we're not doing anything wrong. We're just living life. But look at what this new idea being floated says. It says annually. Okay, that's the key word, $10,000 or more annually. And there's one bit of masking of the truth here, Dave. Of course, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said the proposal would exclude, in her words, wage and salary earners and federal program beneficiaries, such that only those accruing other forms of income in opaque ways are a part of the reporting regime. I mean, I don't know how much of that we could understand, Dave, but she went on to say the new proposal reflects the administration's strong belief that we should zero in on those at the top of the income scale who don't pay the taxes they owe. that's a very popular accusation, against the rich. I think us as people should zero in on the people who have been completely wrong for years, especially her about inflation. But I guess we'll talk about that another week. But
Yeah.
however, let's get back to that word, Dave. Annually, the average American runs about $61,000 through just their bank accounts on a yearly basis.
Wow.
So the average American will be picked up by this plan. If you move $10,000 or more a year through any account, banking, investing, any financial account, it will be known by the federal government through the IRS. And that, my friends, is not at all financial privacy, and it is not at all any financial freedom. So the point is, how do you get some financial freedom? How do you get some money out of the banking system before all this happens? How can you still do it legally? And one of the easiest ways to do that is to diversify and get some wealth preservation with a very simple asset that's been money for thousands of years. And that, folks, is physical gold and some physical silver. And we'll talk a little bit more about that, Dave, as the show goes on.
A reminder here, you're listening to The Gold Standard with Ken Russo from Midas Gold Group. Ken, privacy and freedom are the bedrock of American democracy. And right now, what you do gives each of us the ability to have at least a portion of our wealth private, right? Either in the sense of physical gold that we hold or putting our money into a gold IRA.
That's exactly right, Dave. And how important is that in this day and age? The first half of 2022 has been historical. We've seen bigger drops in the stock market and in the bond market in decades. And with the interest rates increasing dramatically by the Fed is dramatically behind the curve. They are, willing to do this at the expense of the markets, it looks like, and to crash the economy. Mm-hmm. So what's that going to do to our money? And it's imperative that we try and get some money out of the system while we still can and remain somewhat private. We don't want to disclose everything that we do, not because we're doing anything wrong. It's because it's nobody's dang business. We should have some financial freedom and some financial privacy in something that has always held our purchasing power, in something that's not paper and fiat, in something that they just can't print out of thin air. And folks, I know the media and your advisors and your bankers have no incentive to talk about it, but diversifying with physical gold and a little physical silver could probably help many people out there, Dave, sidestep the upcoming financial crisis. It will allow them to not lose everything when that happens. And quite frankly, people, isn't that what we're talking about? How do we protect what we have, no matter how we've gotten it to this point? How do we protect it, and how do we keep it private?
And we're going to talk more about privacy and freedom just a little bit later in the program. But first, a reminder that you're listening to The Gold Standard with Ken Russo from Midas Gold Group. And in a moment, we're going to look at a specific precious metal that you can use to safeguard your wealth, something brand new, and that's coming up right after this.
Dr. Sebastian Gorka here. Part of the so-called Great Reset from the multinational elite is to enact a digital wallet currency. Think of the implications. Time to create your own gold standard with a call to the dealer I do business with, veteran-owned Midas Gold Group, the America First precious metals experts who can help you with IRAs and more. Get your portfolio reset with gold and silver. Call Midas Gold Group for their guide to owning bullion and coins today. 855-322-GOLD. That's 855-322-4653 or MidasGoldGroup.com.
And we're back with more of The Gold Standard, brought to you by Midas Gold Group with Ken Russo. I'm Dave Deno, and our topic today is privacy and freedom. By the way, if you live in the Los Angeles or Phoenix area, we encourage you to visit our local office to meet with us in person. For the address and directions, just log into our website, MidasGoldGroup.com, M-I-D-A-S, MidasGoldGroup.com. For those of you listening in other cities, call us directly at 855-322-GOLD, 855-322-GOLD. By the numbers, 855-322-4653. Ken, now we turn to look at a specific gold product, and as I said, something brand new for us to feature here on the program today, the American Eagle Gold Proof Coin. What makes this such a great gold coin to have in your collection?
Well, a very unique topic today, Dave, for our gold coin that you and I are going to talk about, like you said, the first time. But the American Eagle bullion coin is in brilliant uncirculated condition. Everybody kind of knows what that is. It's a coin that comes in a tube and comes from the U.S. Mint. Now, the American Eagle Gold Proof Coin, Dave, is the collector version of this bullion American Eagle. It's from the United States Mint, and they've been produced since 1986. Now, we never try to make people collectors, Dave, but this particular coin is actually a bullion coin. It's just that they don't make that many of them. It comes in a blue velvet box with a certificate of authenticity. It comes in plastic capsule, so they've never been touched by human hands. It's a very, very high level bullion coin, and they don't make that many of them. They probably only make tens of thousands a year versus close to, a million of the bullion American Eagles. Now, as we know, these are 91.67 pure, 22 karat gold, but the proof coin is much, much shinier, Dave, and has a much glossier finish than a average bullion and circulated coin. It's triple stamped, so that means that the definitions of the lines on the coin are that much more distinct. The coins are minted at the U.S. Mint at West Point. And then obviously that's why there's a W mint mark on the coin, and the W is for West Point.
Ken, you have given us a good description of the difference between a proof coin and an uncirculated coin, and I know that there is a difference in their respective value, right?
Yeah, there is. I mean, for roughly an ounce of gold bullion, American Eagle, it's a little bit under $2,000. For an ounce of gold proof, it's probably a little under $3,000. The premiums on gold proof have even dramatically increased over the last couple of years, even though the gold price has been relatively flat and quiet. That's because it does ultimately come down to supply and demand. And the demand for these coins, which often come in sets, the most common is a 4-coin set, which has a 1 ounce coin, a half ounce coin, a quarter ounce coin, and a tenth of an ounce coin. The demand is just very, very strong. These are also very popular for gold IRAs because many gold companies do advertise an IRS loophole when it comes to gold IRAs. Well, folks, I hate to let the cat out of the bag, but the IRS loophole is putting a gold proof coin or a silver proof coin in your IRA, and you're ultimately only taxed when you do a distribution on the melt value of the coin, and the value of the coin, especially the proof coins, is typically a lot more than what you're paying, taxes on legally. So there is an advantage there, and you can talk to your representative at Midas Gold Group about that, especially if you're interested in possibly considering the gold proof American Eagle, either to hold on to yourself or to put in a gold IRA. So I would just encourage people to give us a call, and we can talk about it a little bit privately. It's a lot to go over just in a few minute clip, but if you have a chance, and you too, Dave, maybe this is the next coin that you're going to add to your collection and to your wealth preservation. It's beautiful. You can't go wrong. And in my opinion, should appreciate pretty dramatically over the next few years as long as gold starts to do what it should do.
Ken, I like your direction, and I like your suggestions, and I use them when I buy gold from Midas Gold Group, so thank you. Coming up in a moment, we are going to continue talking about privacy and freedom with Ken Russo from Midas Gold Group, and that's coming up right after this.
The Fed lied when they initially said inflation was transitory. They knew it wasn't, but didn't want to panic the markets and you, the people. This is why they tried to keep secret the $125 trillion in loans they gave banks around the world. We've seen inflation ramping up, and Midas Gold Group thinks the Fed is way behind the curve with interest rates. It's time to call Midas Gold Group, 805-601-6000. You can add financial privacy and protection from inflation and profit potential to your investments through physical gold and silver. They provide you with the quality service and critical information you need without the pushy salesman. Get your portfolio reset with gold and silver. Call Midas Gold Group for their guide to owning bullion and coins today. 855-322-GOLD. That's 855-322-4653 or MidasGoldGroup.com.
And we're back with more of The Gold Standard, brought to you by Midas Gold Group with Ken Russo. I'm Dave Deno, and our topic today is privacy and freedom. By the way, if you live in the Los Angeles or Phoenix area, you can come and actually visit our local office and meet with us in person. For the address and directions, just log on to our website, MidasGoldGroup.com, M-I-D-A-S, MidasGoldGroup.com. For those listening in other cities, call us directly at 855-322-GOLD, 855-322-GOLD. By the numbers 855-322-4653. Now, let's return to our topic today, privacy and freedom. Ken, let's talk just briefly for a moment about different ways to invest in gold and ways not to.
Well, the first thing is to control your money. So, get some money out of the banking system or the markets, physical gold that you could hold. As I like to say, Dave, we've been saying for a while, gold you hold is gold you own. Gold is something that you can store it away somewhere safe. It'll be there when you and your family need it. And based on its track record, it should be worth a lot more and hold its purchasing power sometime in the future.
I have to admit, I love having a piece of physical gold that I can take out and look at occasionally. Gold just has a really good feel to it, doesn't it?
Well, it feels like money. It feels like something that we can trust. And we've talked about this many times. Our money should be something that we can trust. It should be a store of value. It should be a medium of exchange. It shouldn't be just fiat that nobody understands, that, you can just print unlimited amounts of it out of thin air with the stroke of a computer key. People have to realize that's going to continue. That kind of system is going to have no privacy, no financial freedom, as we've talked many, many times, and even today, about constant 24-hour monitoring of everything that goes into our accounts, individual accounts or retirement accounts, and everything that goes out. And that's only due to the availability and of fiat money, whether fiat is in paper or fiat is digital, it doesn't matter, it's still fiat. So while you still can, get some privacy, get some freedom, take some money out of the banking system, take some money out of the markets, and put it into something that's not going to just disappear. Put it into something that has a long track record of holding its value and holding its purchasing power while the dollar falls. And folks, how many times do we have to say it? That's a little gold and some silver. Give us a call. We could educate you on the process.
A reminder here that you're listening to The Gold Standard with Ken Russo from Midas Gold Group, and today our topic is privacy and freedom. And Ken, aside from having your gold in your possession physically, you can have physical gold in a gold IRA, right?
Yeah, gold is not an ETF. Gold is not a mining share. Gold is not a mutual fund. Gold is not paper. And it can be held at a depository in bar form and coin form until you decide to take it out. Because, folks, when you take money out of an IRA, or when you take gold out of an IRA or silver, there's a tax consequence. The IRA is a retirement account. It's an umbrella that allows you to have assets that can grow, but you didn't pay taxes on that money yet. So gold IRA doesn't avoid taxes, but it does allow you to diversify your paper holdings, such as stocks and bonds. So if you don't want to take a huge drawdown in lower markets going forward in those particular types of assets, the gold IRA is an option for people. It is physical gold and physical silver held at a depository until you decide to take it out. And that's what's very important. That's different than paper, because if you have a gold IRA, which is in physical precious metals, Dave, versus a paper IRA, which could be at Schwab, Ameritrade, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, Fidelity, whatever. We all know the names. That is not gold that you can take delivery of, ever. It's only paper. It's still subject to monitoring. It's still subject to the markets. It's still subject to corporations and management and earnings and all that stuff. It's not gold that you can hold. So once again, not wealth preservation, paper, diversify from paper, get out of some paper assets. That's what we're talking about. Besides doing that, you still have financial freedom and you have some financial privacy. And based on everything that we've talked about today, that is going away very rapidly. And that's just right around the corner. So it's a limited amount of time, folks.
Ken, how can a person then buy gold in one of these two ways, especially if they're like most of us, they really don't know the process?
Well, I mean, you have to rely on people who do. You know what I mean? I don't know how to do plumbing, but if I have a leak in my house, I have to call somebody and I have to trust that they could do the job. So if you feel that your portfolio is too exposed, it's too much speculation, too much, riding the roller coaster, and you don't want to be a part of that, you have to rely on a good silver and gold dealer. And that's what we pride ourselves on. We have experienced people. We're not, pushy salesmen. We're not hiring actors to go on television and to promote a product that benefits only Midas Gold Group. So if you're looking at a professional organization that really truly cares about their clients and really truly wants to be here for them 20 or 30 years from now, give us a try. We'll educate you on the process. We'll be with you every step of the way. We'll hold your hand through the entire transaction. That's what we do. That's what we specialize in. So people out there, just like you rely on your plumber, your doctor, your advisor, your banker, your landscaper, your anybody else that you use, you should be relying on a good gold and silver dealer at this point too.
Quickly here at the end of the program, there are some other so-called ways to invest in gold that you do not recommend. What are they and why?
Well, we've gone over that, Dave, pretty much a few times. I don't want to be too redundant, but a gold mining share, which is a company that has shares in mining exploration. You have mutual funds that own precious metals. You have ETFs, which is electronically traded funds. You have just paper gold. That is no substitute for the real tangible asset. Every day I have a client that calls me and said, I asked my advisor to diversify and I told them that I wanted to buy some gold and silver. And they said, oh, well, we could offer you gold and silver. They cannot offer you gold and silver. They could only offer you paper gold and silver, stuff that still generates commissions, stuff that they can churn, stuff that is still part of the banking system. So once again, the only true way to hold gold and silver in your possession or in your IRA is in physical, tangible form. Gold you hold is gold you own.
It is information and guidance like that I get from you as to why I own gold from the Midas Gold Group. Ken, thank you so much.
My pleasure, Dave.
That is going to bring us to the end of our time together today here on the Gold Standard with Ken Russo, brought to you by Midas Gold Group. A reminder, opinions given here are not intended to be specific to your investment strategy, but rather general information to give you a better understanding of investing in precious metals. For answers to your questions, call Midas Gold Group at 855-322-GOLD, 855-322-GOLD. By the numbers 855-322-4653. And the website is MidasGoldGroup.com, M-I-D-A-S, MidasGoldGroup.com. The Midas Gold Group is proud to be America's #1 veteran-owned gold dealer, supporting veterans' causes with a portion of profits donated to the Wounded Warriors Project and the Semper Fi Fund. So your investment in your future is also an investment in the future of those who have bravely served the cause of freedom. Again, the number to call to speak directly with Midas Gold Group is 855-322-GOLD, 855-322-GOLD. Ken, thank you for your time again today.
Have a great day, Dave, and have a great day to everyone out there.
Ken, you've made my day better. Thank you so much. I'm Dave Deno. Come and join us again next week at this same time for another edition of The Gold Standard.
The Gold Standard was brought to you by the Midas Gold Group.